We would like to remind everyone to get seated as our guest of honor is arriving shortly. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome our guest of honor, Minister for Education, Mr. Chan Chun Sing, accompanied by Minister of State for Education and Manpower, Ms. Gan Xiaohuang.
A very warm welcome to Minister for Education, Mr. Chan Chun Sing, Minister of State for Education and Manpower, Madam Gan Xiaohuang, Chairman STL Logistics Board of Directors, Mr. Richard Lim, Managing Director of Toll Group, Mr. Thomas Knudsen, Chief Executive Skills Future Singapore, Mr. Tan Kok Yam, Executive Secretary, Supply Chain Employees Union, Mr. Muhammad Fahmi bin Aliman, and STL Logistics CEO, Mr. Logan Arden.
Before we begin, I would like to introduce ourselves. I'm Wei Sheng, and this is Jia Yi. We are both recipients of the Singapore Industry Scholarship. I graduated in 2020, while Jia Yi graduated in 2021. The ST Logistics and Supply Chain Employees Union Learning Festival 2022 marks an important milestone in ST Logistics' workforce transformation journey. We are very honored to be joined by everyone here today. Let's first go through some basic housekeeping rules. Do remember to keep your mask up at all times during the event. Do also keep 1 meter apart from other guests and avoid gathering in groups of more than 5. Lastly, to avoid any interruptions during the event, do remember to keep your phones to silent mode. Thank you.
In the event of an emergency, upon hearing the first bell of the fire alarm, please remain calm and wait for further instructions via the PA system. If ordered to evacuate, all guests shall follow the guidance of our working crew and walk briskly to the nearest exit and proceed to the assembly point and wait for further instructions. Without further ado, it's my pleasure to invite our CEO, Mr. Logan Arden, for his welcome address. Mr. Logan, please.
Minister for Education, Mr. Chan Chun Sing, Minister of State for Education and Manpower, Ms. Gan Xiaohuang, Chairman ST Logistics Board of Directors, Mr. Richard Lim, Managing Director Toll Group, Mr. Thomas Knudsen, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and thank you for joining us at this opening of STL Supply Chain Employees Union Learning Festival 2022. We are gathered here to commemorate a significant milestone in our workforce transformation journey and to witness and affirm 4 important collaborations related to ST Logistics workforce training. The 4 collaborations include 2 skills development MOUs with NTUC Learning Hub and the National University of Singapore, which we signed in 2019 and are renewing today, and 2 new ones with NACE, led by Nanyang Poly, and Singapore Institute of Technology that we are signing for the first time. ST Logistics is an essential supply chain partner to the government. Our workforce has a strong sense of purpose, understand what the company stands for, identifies with its mission, and are proud to be part of it, while having the right DNA to serve the national requirements. This is demonstrated once again in our surge response during the 2-year pandemic. Key to our response have been our ability to adapt to global trends impacting the supply chain and logistics industry. One such trend is the digitalization and automation phenomena that has significantly shifted the state of play in many industries, including the logistics industry. In ST Logistics, we understood this trend early and have invested significantly in digitalization and automation over the last 3 years. The company also played an active role in providing industry insights for the skills framework for logistics. We were also active in the Job Transformation Map, JTM, study on the Industry 4.0 impact on logistic workforce. The JTM was launched by Minister Tan See Leng during his visit to ST Logistics in November last year. There are 3 reasons why the company is fervent in investing in digitalization and automation and embarked on the workforce transformation. First, our 1,100 strong workforce is 100% Singaporean. We need to maintain a ready, relevant, and resilient Singaporean core workforce due to the nature of our work. We see it as our responsibility to ensure workers are adequately skilled to serve our customers and to remain employed in the long run. Second, with a growing demand and competition for Singaporean talent, we strive to remain an attractive employer. Besides competitive remuneration and progression, we have also focused on technology adoption as a means of keeping our workforce excited and engaged in the daily work, and to attract younger people to this industry that has not been considered sexy up to now. Third, as a responsible partner to the government, we have endeavored to future-proof our solutions by investing in technology solutions to level up our delivery of service for our customers. The company will continue to define the skills required at various levels and create the right environment and support structures to encourage our technology transformation, like the MOUs we are about to sign today for skills training. Any successful transformation to a digital supply chain requires people with the right skills and motivation to support change. We are now ready to take the next step to give a greater push to the entire effort in workforce transformation by looking into performance and rewards. When our workers are successfully upskilled, they produce better results. That gain in productivity will now be used to incentivize our workers to keep progressing in their skills upgrading journey. Hence, I am pleased to announce that ST Logistics will launch a new skills allowance for our employees commencing in March 2022, that's next month. Non-executives can receive $65 or a maximum of $125, while executives can receive $125 or maximum of $225 monthly. This allowance will be given if they successfully complete the future skills training and utilize the new skills acquired in their daily work or through project implementation. Those who acquire deeper technological skills will be able to enjoy the higher tier incentive. This would be equivalent to about 6% of their monthly salary. 70% of our workers will benefit from this scheme, and a total of 1.7 million will be spent annually for this purpose. Giving a skills upgrading allowance will now allow employees to take greater ownership over how they can shape their careers by encouraging them to develop the skills they need to grow within the organization. This is a partnership approach to training. The digital skills they acquire through this process will not only benefit their careers in the company, but outside the workplace in their personal lives. In conclusion, I would like to thank Minister Chan and MOS Gan for gracing this occasion, and to all partners for your strong commitment and support. To our MOU partners, ST Logistics looks forward to another exciting year and successful endeavor to future-proof our workers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Loga. We will now present you a video on ST Logistics' workforce transformation journey.
hope you have all enjoyed the video. The video was actually an in-house production done by Jia Yi and our HR department via software such as Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects, which are both digital skills that they have picked up outside of work. I personally find that extremely commendable.
Thank you, Wei Sheng. One must not stop learning even after leaving university. Moreover, acquisition of digital skills is a key part of the company's workforce transformation journey.
Indeed. It's now our honor and pleasure to invite Minister for Education, Mr. Chan Chun Sing, up on stage for his keynote address. Mr. Chan, please.
Distinguished guests, a very good morning to all of you. It's always a pleasure to come back to meet up with colleagues and friends from TOE and also ST Logistics. First and foremost, let me thank ST Logistics for doing wonders over the last 2 years to help our country acquire all the essentials that we have perhaps taken for granted in peacetime. I think you and I know what you all had to do, the magic you have to create in order for us to enjoy what we have today. I will not go into the details because I believe many of these things will still be trade secrets of how ST Logistics have played such a vital role in helping us to secure our essential supplies, especially during the depth of the COVID pandemic supply chain crisis. Thank you very much to ST Logistics. Now, having said that, COVID-19 has really accelerated many changes and brought home many lessons that will remain with us for a long time to come. Today, for instance, while we are here with only perhaps about 50 people on site, we have allowed many more people to join us online. And this will be the way forward, even after the pandemic. 2 weeks ago, I shared our vision for our universities and lifelong education. Today, I'd like to focus on the continuum of our education and training system, which ST Logistics and the Supply Chain Employees Union contribute to with today's effort. The realities that underpin our thinking are simply this. First, the shelf life of skills continues to shorten. For workers, relevance comes from currency, and currency comes from continuous upgrading. No amount of education and training can prepare us for our entire life or to prevent obsolescence. Second, having the relevant skills nowadays is more important than joining the so-called sunrise or relevant sector. In fact, the sectors will evolve. The old sectors may disappear and new ones may emerge. We certainly cannot protect jobs, but we certainly can protect our workers. And the best way to protect our workers is to make sure that they always have the relevant skills to pivot and flex across different sectors as the sectors evolve. We have therefore two very simple goals for our education and training system. First, to start right, and second, to progress well. And from these two simple goals of starting right and progressing well, we have 5 things that we need to do well. First, to start right, we must guide our people well to understand their strengths and interests. And to start well, we must make sure that we equip them with the right competencies for a good start. And these are all part of our pre-employment training. But the second part is even more important, and that is for our workers and companies to progress well. To progress well, it means that our workers must continue to learn and have the opportunity to learn throughout their life. And this is why I commend ST-Log together with SCEU for creating such opportunities and the roadmap for our people to learn. Just now, from the little video that we see, the thing that caught my eye was the skills map. It's an important part because it is developed through the experiences accumulated. It is not something that we can just take out from the textbook and say that this is what we will equip our workers with. And I'll talk more about this in a short while. So to progress well, we need to make sure that our workers can continue to learn and always have the opportunities to learn. But the second part of progressing well has to do with our companies. Our workers' upskilling must progress in tandem with our company's transformation. There is no point for our workers to upgrade their skills if our companies do not become those receptacles for them to apply those skills. Then the workers have very little motivation to want to upgrade their skills. On the other hand, if our companies transform their operations and we are unable to keep pace with the retraining of our workers, then we will not have the necessary manpower nor the quality of manpower that is needed to propel our companies forward. And finally, the fifth thing that we must do is to make sure that as we retrain our workers, we must continue to innovate in the pedagogy and the andragogy that we apply for our adult learners. The way our adult learners learn are different from the ways our young students learn. Every generation of adult learners learn in a slightly different ways. And in order for us to optimize their performance and learning, we need to deeply understand the differences, even just between two generations of workers 5 to 10 years apart. And that is our challenge. So let me start with our career counseling and then at the beginning, our education and career guidance in secondary schools and beyond. One of the key things that we need to do, and one of the hallmarks for our success in our education system, is for our students to graduate understanding their strengths and weaknesses and understanding their interests. And this is the first important step because this is how we can minimize the attrition from the courses that they attend to the work that they do. Today, we can still do much better. The attrition from what people study to what people do is still higher than what we want to achieve. It's still higher than much higher than, perhaps in some sectors especially, not so much in logistics, but in some sectors, they are higher than what we would have hoped for. Over the years, we have strengthened our career guidance for our schools, and we'll continue to do that, including our polytechnics and ITE. And in this way, we want to make sure that our students know what they're getting into. And this is one appeal I will make to all the companies, including ST Logistics. The best career counseling and guidance do not necessarily come from just the schools, the teachers, or the lecturers. The most powerful career guidance comes from people in the industry. And I will hope that our industry leaders, like what we have here today in front of us with ST Logistics and even the Singapore, the Supply Chain Employees Union, to partner our schools, polytechnics, ITEs, go into our schools, talk to our students and let them know the opportunities in the sector. This will be the most powerful testimony that we can do for our students. Of course, at the same time, we will also look for the opportunities whereby some of our teachers can come and join some of the companies for some time to experience what is possible and what are opportunities here. And with that, they can carry back the message to their own students. So we hope to see this partnership in strengthening our career and guidance for our students. Now, the second part about starting right is to make sure that we keep our curriculum up to date, working again hand in hand with our industries. For example, Nanyang Polytechnic's Diploma in Business Intelligence is developed with industry partners such as Google Cloud, Microsoft, Oracle Academy, and SAS. Such partnerships shorten the knowledge cycle and shorten the transfer of knowledge from frontier knowledge to our training and academia. Under Ngee Polytechnic's personalized learning pathway, students can also do a minor in entrepreneurship and network with startups and industry leaders. So our lecturers must acquire the industry-relevant skills through such partnerships. For example, Singapore Polytechnic works with companies to conduct train-the-trainer sessions, which shorten the cycle of how SP staff acquire and pass on the skills that they learn to our students. Recently, Republic Poly sent one of their lecturers on a 5-month attachment to a deep tech startup company that specializes in the healthcare Internet of Things. The lecturer was able to apply his expertise during this attachment and, very importantly, brought back new knowledge and learnings to his students. I therefore urge our polytechnics and IT to send more of their lecturers on such attachment programs, and I also urge our companies to open up such opportunities to our polytechnics lecturers and staff. And the promise to our company is this: you make a good sales pitch, you train the trainer well, you have the right of first call to the talent pool, because the lecturers and the faculty will be your best salesmen to recruit the next generation of staff. So this two-way exchange is important, and this two-way exchange must continually be strengthened. Now, we are also offering more quality industry exposure opportunities for students to experience and have hands-on learning environment. When MOE, under Dr. Maliki's guidance, worked on the review of our polytechnic and ITE pathways, one of the significant things we want to improve was to make sure that the quality of our internships continue to improve. Internships is what brings to life what the students learn in their textbooks. And this is why the quality internships need quality partners like ST Logistics. When the interns or the students have a quality experience with a company, chances are that they will join the company, they will stay in the industry, and that will significantly reduce the attrition or the loss from what they study to what they work in. So I thank companies like ST Logistics who have opened their doors for many of our scholarship holders and interns to come and experience what it is like to have a career in the supply chain industry. Now, having equipped our people with the right skills for a strong start, our next objective, which is our third prong, must be to encourage them to keep learning throughout their life, to have a mindset whereby they are never done learning for life. This is not about a paper chase, but a timely acquisition of knowledge and skills. So courses in different formats should be on tap for people to plug and play as they need. We have a saying, learning must be an activity that anyone can do anytime at any place. And that is our aspirations. So we have diversified the pathway which learning can take place. We have work-study programs, for instance, to allow adult learners to upskill while remaining in employment. ITE recently launched the work-study diploma in e-commerce and retail course, co-designed with Cold Storage Singapore, and comes with workplace experience in the retail industry. Another modality would be the modular courses that address immediate skills needs on a just-in-time basis. Some of these can be stackable, conferring micro-credentials that later count towards a full qualification. This also includes many offerings in our IHLs and also WSQ qualifications and certifications in many job roles. And there is even another idea that we are working on, which is to work with frontier companies like ST Logistics to actually allow new courses, new modules to be created as our workers progress through the system. This is really the apex of what we call just-in-time learning. Designing, developing the curriculum as the technology, as the business processes evolve. So if we can embrace this model of learning, then I'm quite sure our workers will find it very relevant to participate in the courses, and our companies will also find it very meaningful to allow and help our workers to gain the new knowledge. It's a mutual beneficiary move. It's a mutual beneficial move. Now the fourth prong, as we equip our people with the on-demand skills, they also need meaningful jobs and employers with the ability to make best use of these skills. So the training of workers and company transformation must therefore go hand in hand together. Companies have ready partners in our institutes of higher learning to help transform processes, move up the value chain, and develop manpower capabilities. So for example, Temasek Polytechnic's Advanced Manufacturing Center, set up in collaborations with TP's partners such as Omron, combines a training center with students and adult learners with a consultancy to support companies' Industry 4.0 transformation effort. Republic Polytechnic's Center of Innovation, or COI, in supply chain management has worked with over 400 companies and completed over 800 consultancy projects. And the benefit of this type of collaboration is this. The companies benefit from the consultancy and are able to use the skill sets and knowledge in our IHLs to help improve their processes. On the other hand, our lecturers retain and improve their currency with the latest technology and business processes. And in that, they are able to transmit those knowledge to the students as soon as possible. So when the students come out, they are ready for the companies instead of having to go to the companies and have the companies train them again based on just the foundational knowledge that they have. This is how we can shorten the cycle from frontier industry knowledge and practices to the academia, and in turn going back to benefit the industry as soon as possible. So I see our frontier companies as part of our wider education and training ecosystem. We cannot do this alone just with the polytechnics, ITEs, or even the universities. We need the company's partnership for us to make sure that we have the cutting edge in our curriculum and in enabling our adult learners to keep learning. Now, finally, we need to improve our andragogy and pedagogy. And we ourselves have to scale up our abilities to see how we can use new training approaches for our adult learners, so that everyone will not just have the skills that they need for the current job, but they always have something a little extra for the next job that they might do. And if you look at the skills map that ST Logistics put up just now, it's a wonderful example. They are training not just for today's jobs tasks, but we are also equipping workers with a bit of surplus skills that they can take on new jobs now in the absence of their co-workers or when the companies transform. Without that little bit of skill surplus, the companies will always find it very difficult for them to want to move fast if the workers cannot keep pace. So companies with foresight like ST Logistics will constantly want to invest in their workers ahead of time and not just in time. And that is the hallmark of a great company. And I'm sure with that kind of attitude, many of the employees, many of our workers will want to join companies like that, who are not just equipping them for today's job, but also for tomorrow's challenges. The other thing that we noticed from ST Logistics' effort today is the use of digital skills. The application of the digital skills is not just for, again, the task at hand, but instead the basics, the fundamentals, the foundations built up allow our workers to pivot across to different job areas, acquire different skill sets as the technology changes. Now this is, again, a very good example. Yet another example that I will cite today is HMI Institute's effort on the swabber training and supervisory training in ART self-swab. During the COVID crisis, the previous rate of training was perhaps a few hundreds per week. But at the peak of the COVID crisis, they have to scale up by one order of magnitude to reach tens of thousands per month. How did they achieve that? They achieved that by breaking down the tasks and using the digital technologies, online and offline training combined, to scale up the training by one order of magnitude, from a few thousands per month to a few tens thousands per month. Now this is impressive, but there are also many lessons that we can learn of how we can use such technologies, pedagogies and andragogies to scale up the training for our workers to make sure that they are just in time, being able to acquire the knowledge that they need. So never waste a crisis. The many lessons learned from the COVID can actually be applied in peacetime and should be applied in peacetime. So I'm very pleased to see that ST Logistics is signing an MOU today with the National Center of Excellence for Workplace Learning, or NACE, to embark on the National Workplace Learning Certification journey. I hope many of the lessons learned today will not be just confined to ST Logistics or the Supply Chain Employees Union. I hope that you will also share your learning, your experiences with the other sectors so that together we can all uplift the skills of our workers in a much more timely manner. And that's why I'd like to congratulate Loga and your team for all the efforts that you have made to take ownership of not just transforming your companies, but transforming and upgrading your worker skills as you transform your company. And that, I believe, will certainly motivate your staff to keep learning, to stay nimble, and to stay relevant. So finally, let me just say this. We have talked about career guidance, currency of curriculum, continuous learning, business transformation, new models of learning for adult learners. But my final message today is this. There is a larger purpose behind all this that we are doing. And this larger purpose goes beyond just profit and loss and the economic relevance of our companies and workers. It is about all of us in Singapore having a growth mindset. That going forward, our sense of accomplishment and fulfillment cannot be just about the material things that we can acquire. Our fulfillment must ultimately come from a sense that we are growing and contributing. This is the growth mindset that we want to inculcate in all Singaporeans. That as Singaporeans, we are never afraid of hard work, but how much more pleasurable it is when we do it with conviction. And when we do it, we know that we are growing and we are contributing. And that is really the ultimate goal of what we want to see in our continuous learning journey. Not just for economic gains, but beyond the economic gains, to have that personal growth mindset that gives our people the sense of accomplishment, fulfillment, a sense of contribution. So thank you very much, and may I wish you all a fruitful discussion ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Chan, for the keynote address, and if you kindly remain on stage to officiate the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding.
We would now like to invite the signatories to come out on stage for the signing ceremony. CEO ST Logistics, Mr. Loganathan, Vice Provost, Postgraduates and Lifelong Education and Dean, NUS Skill, Prof. Susanna Leong, CEO NTUC Learning Hub, Mr. Jeremy Ong, Provost and Deputy President Academic SIT, Prof. John Tong, and Principal and CEO Nanyang Polytechnic, Ms. Jean Liu.
We would also like to invite Minister Gan, Mr. Richard Lim, and Mr. Thomas Knudsen to join Minister Chan in witnessing the signing of the MOUs.
The Memorandum of Understanding serves as a commitment between ST Logistics and our valued partners to collaborate in our joint quest to train and upskill current and future employees in ST Logistics.
Signatories, you may now proceed with the signing of the MOUs. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for the successful MOU signing on this auspicious day, 22nd February 2022. Signatories, please remain seated as we take a photo to commemorate this special occasion.
for witnessing this momentous event. We would like to request for Minister Chan and Mr. Loga to remain on stage, while the witnessing officers and signatory may proceed back to their seats. Thank you.
We would like to present Minister Chan with a token of appreciation for gracing this occasion. The token presenter is a rotating crystal cube that reflects STL Logistics' diverse business units. It also depicts the company's key focus on intelligent systems and assets, and the implementation of cutting-edge technologies in our supply chain operations. Thank you, Minister Chan and Mr. Loga.
For the next part of our program, we have prepared 7 learning booths that showcase how STL Logistics has collaborated with our training partners to upskill our workforce in key growth areas, digitalization and sustainability. Each booth showcases the specialization of each of our training partners and how their expertise is assimilating into the learning of our workforce at STL Logistics.
Due to safe distancing measures, we have split the tour of the remaining booths into 3 groups with a 10 minutes interval. May we please invite the first group, Minister Chan, Mr. Gan, Mr. Thomas Knudsen, Mr. Richard Lim, Mr. Loganathan, Mr. Tan Kok Yam, and Mr. Muhammad Fahmi bin Aliman to proceed to the booth showcase via the entrance to the left of the stage.